All right, let's jump right into some big news happening at the crossroads of AI and youth well-being. There's a new €500,000 grant that's just been announced, and today we're going to break down exactly what it is, who it's for, and why it's so important right now. Let's get into it. So, €500,000. Yep, you heard that right. That is the headline number. The total amount of money that's up for grabs to tackle one of the most critical issues in tech today. The big question is, where is all this money actually going? Well, it's all for a brand new grant program aimed at supporting NGOs and research institutions. And what's the mission? It's all about making sure young people can tap into the benefits of AI safely and responsibly. This is about getting ahead of the curve and actively building a better future, not just sitting back and reacting to problems. So that brings us to the obvious question: why this grant and why right now? The thing is, AI isn't some far-off concept anymore. It's here, it's now, and it is completely changing the way an entire generation lives, learns, and connects with the world. This slide really just lays it all out, doesn't it? It's a classic two-sided coin. On one hand, AI is unlocking these incredible opportunities. We're talking richer learning experiences, amazing new tools for creativity, brand new ways to communicate. But, and it's a big but, on the other side, you've got some very real challenges: serious safety risks, major concerns for mental well-being, and this urgent, growing need for real, effective safeguards. This grant is designed to live right in that space, to push the good stuff forward while tackling the risks head-on. Okay, so you might be thinking, this sounds great, but who can actually get their hands on this funding? Let's get into the nitty-gritty for any organizations out there who might be listening and thinking, hey, that could be us. And that's a question you should seriously be asking yourself, because this program isn't just throwing money out there. They're looking for specific partners to do some really important work. So let's see what it actually takes to get in the game. Okay, these are the absolute must-haves. First up, your organization has to be legally registered in a country in Europe, the Middle East, or Africa. Second, you have to be a non-governmental organization, a research institution, or maybe a coalition of those groups. And this is a big one. Your work has to be centered on youth safety and well-being, or you need to be bringing a new practical project to the table in that area. Now, if you are thinking of applying, this slide is basically your cheat sheet. It shows you exactly what the reviewers are going to be looking for. And just look at what's marked as high priority. It's all about, does your project actually fit the program's goals? Can it make a real-world impact and grow? Is your approach solid and ethical? And, can you actually pull it off? Those are the core questions your application needs to answer loud and clear. And let's talk money, because we're not talking about small change here. These are pretty substantial grants. Individual awards are going to be somewhere in the range of €25,000 to €100,000. And get this, there's even a chance for multi-year funding if you've got a bigger, more ambitious idea. So that really tells you the kind of scale they're looking for. All right, so you think your organization might be a good fit. You're ticking the boxes. What's next? Let's walk through the playbook. What do you actually need to do to apply? It really breaks down into 4 main steps. Pretty straightforward. Step 1, you've got to write a 500-word proposal. It needs to be short, sharp, and to the point. That's your big pitch. Step 2, get all your documents together: your budget, your team's info, any ethics plans. Step 3, hop online, fill out the form, and upload everything. And step 4, probably the most important of all, hit that submit button before the deadline. And speaking of deadlines, you absolutely need to pay attention to this timeline for 2026. Applications swing open on January 28th, and they slam shut just 1 month later, on February 27th. That is a seriously tight window. The plan is for the funded projects to get started in the second or third quarter of the year. So bottom line, if you're interested, you've got to get moving on this fast. Okay, let's pull back for a second and look at the big picture here. Beyond all the paperwork and the money, what's the ultimate goal? What kind of change is this whole program really trying to spark? This gives us a great taste of the kinds of projects they're excited about. And it's a pretty wide range, which is cool. They're looking for everything from on-the-ground harm prevention programs to AI literacy campaigns for kids, parents, and teachers. They're also interested in research that explores how AI can actually help young people thrive, plus real-world tests of safety tools and the creation of practical resources that organizations can use right away. And, this quote right here, it just hits the nail on the head. It perfectly captures the spirit of the whole thing. This isn't about theory. It's about funding practical, hands-on work and solid, independent research to figure out what safe and responsible AI actually means. not in a lab, but out in the messy, real world where kids are using this stuff every single day.
And that's the bottom line, really. They want tangible results. This isn't about funding studies that are just going to collect dust on a shelf. The whole point is to create things people can actually use, like toolkits for parents and teachers, policy briefs that can influence decision makers, and safety strategies that have been tested and proven to work.
So it all comes down to this massive question, doesn't it? The goal isn't to stop AI. That ship has sailed. It's about how we steer it. This grant, this €500,000, it's a huge bet. It's a bet on the idea that if we get the right people with the right research and the right tools, we can make sure AI empowers our kids instead of endangering them. And honestly, that's a question we all need to be thinking about.